Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Saira Mujtaba with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls upon citizens of the country to celebrate Diwali with local products. Prime Minister inaugurates and lays foundation for various development projects in Varanasi. National COVID recovery rate improves to 92.56%. In Bihar, elaborate arrangements put in place for tomorrow's counting of votes for assembly elections. And 15th Finance Commission submits report of 2021 to 26 to President Ramnath Kovind. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today called upon citizens of the country to celebrate Diwali this year with local products. He gave the slogan, Local for Diwali, and said it is our commitment and responsibility to celebrate Diwali with all locally produced items.
आजकल आप देख रहे हैं लोकल के लिए वोकल, वोकल फॉर लोकल, इसके साथ ही लोकल फॉर दिवाली, इसके मंत्र को, इसकी गूंज चारों तरफ अब सुनाई देने लगी है। मेरा बनारस के लोगों से भी और देशवासियों से भी मेरा कहना है, लोकल फॉर दिवाली को खूब प्रमोट करें, खूब प्रचार करें। हर एक व्यक्ति जब गर्व के साथ लोकल सामान खरीदेगा, लोकल की चर्चा करेगा, लोकल प्रोडक्ट का गौरव करेगा, नए नए लोगों तक ये बात पहुंचाएगा कि हमारे लोकल प्रोडक्ट कितने अच्छे हैं, कितने शानदार है, किस तरह हमारी पहचान है, तो ये बातें दूर दूर तक जाएगी।
After inaugurating and laying foundation for 30 development projects in his parliamentary constituency Varanasi, the PM began his speech in Banarasi dialect by thanking the farmers of Purvanchal and said despite the COVID-19 pandemic, they produced bumper crops in their fields. He said the development projects going on in Varanasi are touching every aspect of life of the people of Kashi. These include infrastructure development, tourism, cleaning of Ganga and welfare of farmers also.
मां गंगा की स्वच्छता से लेकर स्वास्थ्य सेवाओं तक, रोड और इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर से लेकर पर्यटन तक, बिजली से लेकर युवाओं के लिए खेलकूद तक और किसान से लेकर गांव गरीब तक, हर क्षेत्र में बनारस विकास की नई गति प्राप्त किए हुए है।
The Prime Minister said there has been incredible work in the health sector and now Varanasi has become a hub of health facilities for not just the eastern part of the state but also for the whole country. He said a lot of development took place in the last 6 years and many projects have changed the very look of the city. Varanasi is developing in every aspect and it is benefiting the people of Purvanchal area of the state who don't have to go to big cities like Delhi and Mumbai. Talking about the recent farm bills, the PM said they are going to benefit the farmers as middlemen are now being excluded from the system. He said while the PM Swanidhi scheme is helping the street vendors who faced hardship during Corona, the property card scheme will end many disputes in villages. The Prime Minister also interacted with the beneficiaries of these projects during the event. While talking to well-known basketball player Prashanti Singh, PM Narendra Modi said the people of Kashi converted challenges into opportunities and the facilities at the housing complex for players in Sampurnanand Stadium will provide ease of sporting to the players and people of Kashi.
जब स्पोर्ट्स से जुड़े हुए खिलाड़ी, कोचेज ये जो सुझाव देते हैं, उससे जो चीजें बनती हैं, वो सच्चे अर्थ में काम आती है। और आपने देखा होगा कि मैं लगातार खेल जगत से जुड़े लोगों से उनके अनुभव सुनता रहता हूं, उनकी जानकारियां लेता रहता हूं और फिर उनको कहीं कहीं ढालने की कोशिश भी करता हूं। लेकिन आपने जो सुझाव दिया है उस पर जरूर शासन भी विचार करेगा और खेल जगत में बनारस हर प्रकार से प्रगति करे। बनारस की युवा पीढ़ी के जहन के अंदर खेल, और जब खेल होता है, स्पोर्ट्स होता है तो स्पोर्ट्समैन स्पिरिट भी होता है और वो स्पिरिट जो है वो बहुत बड़ी ताकत होता है।
While talking to Vipin Kumar Agrawal, a businessman from Varanasi, PM suggested maintaining cleanliness in the premises and providing better facilities to workers in industrial areas. Earlier, speaking on the occasion, Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh Yogi Adityanath termed the projects as a pre-Diwali gift by the PM to the people of Kashi. He said currently projects worth around 8,900 crore rupees are going on in Kashi. Till date, the Prime Minister has sanctioned projects worth 18,000 crores to his constituency Varanasi.
काशी वासियों को दी जाने वाली इस सौगात के लिए हृदय से आभार व्यक्त करते हुए हृदय से स्वागत और अभिनंदन करता हूं। काशी की पुरातन काया को एक नए कलेवर के साथ वैश्विक मंच पर स्थापित करने के लिए पिछले 6 वर्षों से आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के मार्गदर्शन में जो भी विकास की योजनाएं अलग अलग क्षेत्रों में वहां पर प्रारंभ हुई, आज उसने काशी को वैश्विक मंच पर एक नई पहचान दिलाई है।
Yogi Adityanath said projects worth around 200 crores were also ready for inauguration, but due to the ongoing election process for graduate MLC elections, they could not be inaugurated. The projects which were inaugurated today include Sarnath Light and Sound Show, upgradation of Lal Bahadur Shastri Hospital, Ramnagar, sewerage-related works, infrastructure facilities for protection and conservation of cows, multi-purpose seed storehouse, agriculture produce warehouse of 100 metric tons, IPDS Phase 2, a housing complex for players in Sampurnanand Stadium, Varanasi City smart lighting work, along with 105 Anganwadi Kendras and 102 Go Ashray Kendras. The projects for which foundation stones were laid today include the redevelopment of Dashashwamedh Ghat and Khidkiya Ghat, barracks for PAC police force, redevelopment of certain wards of Kashi, parking facility, along with redevelopment of park in Beniabag, upgradation of the multipurpose hall in Girija Devi Sanskritik Sankul, repair work of roads in the city, and development of tourist places. We have a report.
More than 1,500 people participated in the program through video conferencing at Deen Dayal Hastakala Sankul in Varanasi. There was an arrangement of live display of the program at many places in the city on big screens also. The projects which were inaugurated today by Prime Minister include Sarnath Light and Sound Show also. The show is going to be a major attraction for the tourists who reach this heritage site from all over the world. With the inauguration today, the first light and sound show will be organized for the public at 7:15 this evening. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
Elaborate arrangements have been put in place for the safe and transparent counting of votes for assembly elections in Bihar. The counting of by-elections to Valmiki Nagar Lok Sabha seat will also be taken up simultaneously tomorrow. Elections for 243-member Bihar Legislative Assembly were held in 3 phases on 28th of October and 3rd and 7th of this month. 55 counting centers have been set up in 38 districts of the state. 414 counting halls have been prepared. Not more than 7 counting tables will be allowed in a counting hall to maintain social distancing. The Election Commission has issued guidelines in view of COVID-19. The counting centers will be disinfected before, during and after counting. Social distancing and other safety norms will be followed for each activity. Mask is necessary for all counting officials. Jawans of Central Paramilitary Forces have been deployed at each booth to ensure trouble-free counting. Talking to AIR News, Bihar Additional Chief Electoral Officer Bal Murugan D said counting of votes for all seats will take place in a safe and transparent manner.
3-tier security is being provided. One more important arrangement from Election Commission of India is that every constituency is going to have counting observers. Most of them have arrived and under their supervision, under observation, the counting will begin. Every effort is being made to conduct the counting in a smooth and very transparent manner. Counting will begin at 8 and confident that by evening the results will come out.
The number of active COVID-19 cases remained below 6 lakh today for the 11th consecutive day. Presently, the total active cases in the country are 5,09,673 and a total of 79,17,373 people have been cured from the infection in the country so far. Our correspondent reports the national recovery rate has improved to 92.56%.
For the second day, new COVID cases reported in a day didn't cross the 50,000 mark. New daily cases continue to trend downwards with the success of Jan Andolan promoting COVID-appropriate behavior. The trend of recoveries outnumbering new cases has continued for the 37th day, with 48,405 cases recovering in the last 24 hours. This trend has continued to shrink the active caseload of India, which is presently 5.09 lakhs. India's cumulative positivity rate has dropped to 7.19% today. Maharashtra has reported the maximum number of single-day recoveries with 8,232 newly recovered cases. 6,853 people recovered in Kerala, followed by 6,069 cases in Delhi. A total of 8,35,401 samples were tested for COVID yesterday. With Suparna Sekia, Bhupender Singh, AIR News, Delhi.
Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan is meeting with the health ministers of 9 states virtually to review COVID-19 situation. During the meeting, the minister urged everyone to promote COVID-appropriate behavior.
मास्क का ठीक प्रकार से इस्तेमाल करना है सबको। 2 गज की दूरी हर समय बनाकर रखनी है। हाथ को साबुन से, पानी से सैनिटाइज करके रखना है। धोते रहना है। अपने रेस्पिरेटरी एटिकेट्स का ख्याल करना है। ये फेस्टिवल्स का समय है। कड़क सर्दी पड़ती है, वो वाले महीने भी आने वाले हैं और रेस्पिरेटरी वायरस है। रेस्पिरेटरी वायरस के ज्यादा विंटर्स में फैलने की संभावना होती है।
According to the Health Ministry, 79% of the new recovered cases are observed to be concentrated in 10 states and union territories. However, India's cumulative positivity rate has reduced with declining trend of new cases, but focus on testing remains a prime commitment of the centre and state governments. Telangana state reported 857 COVID cases during the past 24 hours. With this, the total COVID cases in the state has gone up to 2,51,188, with 1,504 more people recovering yesterday. The recovery rate stands at 91.79%. This took the number of recovered people so far in the state to 2,30,568. Meanwhile, the daily bulletin issued by the State Medical and Health Department this morning stated that total deaths rose to 1,381, following 4 more people succumbing during the past 24 hours. In Andhra Pradesh, 2,237 more COVID-19 positive cases have been recorded during the last 24 hours. 2,256 persons have recovered and been discharged from hospitals across the state during the last 24 hours. At least 86,63,975 samples have been tested so far in the state.
In Madhya Pradesh, the number of COVID-19 cases in the state climbed to around 1,77,000 after 891 new cases were reported in the past 24 hours. With 11 patients succumbing to the infection, the death toll rose to 3,028. A report.
As per the State Health Bulletin, 688 coronavirus patients were discharged from the hospitals in the past 24 hours, taking the number of recovered cases in the state to more than 1,66,000. There are now 7,928 active cases in Madhya Pradesh. More than 28,000 tests were conducted in the state yesterday. At the same time, around 31 lakh tests have been conducted so far. Now more than 200 patients are being reported daily only in the Bhopal in the state, while in the remaining districts, the number of new patients has come down to less than 50. For the convenience of the common people, 711 fever clinics are being operated in the state. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
In Bihar, COVID-19 recovery rate has improved to 96.46%. This is more than the national average. The number of active cases in the state is continuously declining. Currently, 6,731 patients are undergoing treatment at various hospitals. 825 patients have recovered in the last 24 hours, while 801 new cases were reported. Over 2,14,736 patients have so far recovered from the infection in the state. In Nagaland, wearing of face mask has been made compulsory in and around Kohima municipality areas starting from today. In a bid to contain the spread of COVID-19, this ban is being initiated by the Association of Kohima Municipal Wards Panchayat in collaboration with the Kohima Municipal Council. All the 19 wards under the Kohima municipality have joined the campaign, wherein at least 10 volunteers, including senior leaders from the respective wards, are enforcing the safety measures at all times.
In the wake of COVID-19, Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation has issued guidelines banning firecrackers during Diwali since COVID-19 patients have major respiratory problems and are likely to have low oxygen levels. The guidelines have been issued. More from our Mumbai correspondent.
The Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation has appealed to Mumbaikars to show self-discipline and celebrate Diwali without firecrackers, as pollution can affect COVID-19 patients. During the Lakshmi Pujan, only private premises are allowed to light mild firecrackers in a limited manner. However, citizens are advised to take the necessary precautions and warned to avoid sanitizers while handling firecrackers. While making rangoli in front of the door and placing diyas, a bucket full of water and soap should be kept near the door. This will assure that everyone who enters the house will wash hands, feet and face properly. As suggested by BMC, any kind of social gathering should also be avoided during Diwali. In its guidelines, the corporation has said that people should prefer to go to less crowded places for shopping if necessary. Madhuri Pange, AIR News, Mumbai.
Delhi Police has suspended all licenses issued for the sale of firecrackers in the national capital. The Delhi Police added that further action will be taken on the National Green Tribunal's directions. Ahead of Diwali, the Delhi Police has seized over 593 kilograms of illegal crackers being sold in various parts of Delhi. 7 people have been arrested in this regard and cases have been registered against them. The Delhi Police has also registered 8 cases in connection with bursting of firecrackers and arrested 1 person. The Delhi government has also put a complete ban on the sale, purchase and use of all kinds of firecrackers in Delhi till the 30th of this month due to air pollution and cases of COVID-19. The News Services Division of All India Radio in its bilingual live phone-in program tonight will bring you a special discussion program on COVID-19. Dr. Neeraj Nishchal, Assistant Professor at AIIMS, will participate in the discussion. Listeners can ask questions to the expert on toll-free telephone number 1800115767. You can also ask questions on telephone number 011-2331-4444 and post queries on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. This can be heard on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. This program will also be available on our website newsonair.com and on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official. You can also follow us on the News on AIR app for updates.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls upon citizens of the country to celebrate Diwali with local products. Prime Minister inaugurates and lays foundation for various development projects in Varanasi. National COVID recovery rate improves to 92.56%. In Bihar, elaborate arrangements in place for tomorrow's counting of votes for assembly elections. 15th Finance Commission submits report of 2021-26 to President Ramnath Kovind. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
The 15th Finance Commission today submitted its report for the period of 2021 to 26 to President Ramnath Kovind. The Finance Commission, led by its chairman N.K. Singh, today called on the President and submitted the report. The report has been finalized after wide-ranging consultations with the Union and state governments, local governments, chairmen and members of previous Finance Commissions, Advisory Council to the Commission and other domain experts, academic institutions of eminence and multilateral institutions. The Finance Commission will also present a copy of the report to the Prime Minister. The report will be tabled in the Parliament by the Union Finance Minister, along with an action taken report of the government. The 15th Finance Commission was constituted by the President, with N.K. Singh as its chairman. The other members of the Commission include Ajay Narayan Jha, Professor Anup Singh, Dr. Ashok Lahiri and Dr. Ramesh Chand. In Assam, the Education Department has launched Aadhaar enrollment drive for nearly 70 lakh students. A total number of 66,133 schools are to be covered under this process. A report.
The Aadhaar enrollment drive in Assam will cover all government and private school students aged between 6 to 18 years. Now onwards, all the students would have to do the Aadhaar enrollment process in schools only. All the deputy commissioners and principal secretary in the 6 scheduled districts have launched the free Aadhaar enrollment campaign in their respective districts. In Guwahati, principal secretary of the education department, V. Kallan Chakrabarti, has inaugurated the program at Kamrup Academy Higher Secondary School. The drive is expected to be completed by March next year. Manas Patim Sharma, AR News, Guwahati.
Uttarakhand is celebrating its 20th Foundation Day today. Several programs have been organized across the state to mark the occasion. Governor Baby Rani Maurya, Chief Minister Trivendra Singh Rawat and Assembly Speaker Prem Chand Agrawal have greeted the people on the occasion. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has greeted the people of Uttarakhand on their statehood day. In a tweet, Mr. Modi wished that Uttarakhand continues to touch new heights of development. In Madhya Pradesh, at least 7 people were killed while 5 others injured in a road accident in the Satna district today. As per official information, the deceased, including a child and 3 women, were residents of Rewa district.
Maharashtra Governor Bhagat Singh Koshyari today spoke to State Home Minister Anil Deshmukh and conveyed to him his concern over the security and health of news anchor and editor-in-chief of Republic Media Network, Arnab Goswami. The governor also asked the Home Minister to allow the family of Arnab Goswami to see him and speak to him. The governor had earlier conveyed his concern over the manner of arrest of Goswami to the State Home Minister. Veteran author and Gujarati columnist Father Carlos Gonzalez Valles S.J., popularly known as Father Valles, passed away today. He was 95 and breathed his last in Spain. A Jesuit priest born in Spain, he was a mathematics teacher in Gujarat. He wrote extensively in Gujarati, English and Spanish. He translated many mathematical concepts into Gujarati and coined terms for them.
In some international news, U.S. President-elect Joe Biden has announced a 12-member task force for COVID-19 to mount an effective response to the pandemic that has infected millions and damaged the U.S. economy. In his victory speech in Wilmington, Delaware, Mr. Biden said he will spare no effort to turn around this pandemic. He said the panel will convert his coronavirus fighting plan into an action blueprint that will be built on a bedrock of science.
On Monday, I will name a group of leading scientists and experts as transition advisors to help take the Biden-Harris COVID plan and convert it into an action blueprint that will start on January 2021. That plan will be built on bedrock science. It will be constructed out of compassion, empathy, and concern.
The task force will be co-chaired by former Surgeon General Vivek Murthy, former Food and Drug Administration Commissioner David Kessler, and Marcella Nunes-Smith, a professor of public health at Yale University. It will also include Ezekiel Emanuel, former health advisor in the Obama administration. Mr. Biden has promised a much more muscular response to the pandemic than President Donald Trump has made. The virus has infected 9.8 million people in the U.S. and killed more than 237,000 people as daily case counts continue to rise. India has welcomed the removal of Sudan from the list of state sponsors of terrorism and Sudan's normalization of relations with Israel. The External Affairs Ministry said in a statement that India's relations with Sudan are historic and special and forged on the basis of shared values and close people-to-people contacts. India congratulated the transitional government and the people of Sudan on the signing of the Juba Peace Agreement and expressed hope that these positive developments will usher in democratic changes and contribute to enhancing Sudan's development, peace, security and stability.
In Madhya Pradesh, 4 children died and 2 were injured as the roof collapsed while digging the soil to repair a house in Barkhedi area in Bhopal district. After this incident, the Bhopal collector has prohibited digging of soil in rural areas. The Bhopal collector has informed that financial assistance of 4 lakh rupees each was being provided to the family of the deceased. On to sports. In tennis, world number 5 Daniil Medvedev defeated Alexander Zverev 5-7, 6-4, 6-1 in the Paris Masters final to clinch his 8th ATP title yesterday. World number 7 Zverev of Germany, who beat world number 2 Rafael Nadal in semi-finals, took an early advantage, but Russian third seed Medvedev rallied to win in 2 hours 7 minutes. He became the 4th Russian to capture the Paris Masters title after Marat Safin, Nikolai Davydenko and Karen Khachanov.
In cricket, Delhi Capitals entered their first ever IPL final with a convincing 17-run victory over Sunrisers Hyderabad in the second qualifier in Abu Dhabi last night. Opting to bat first, Delhi posted a massive total of 189 for 3 in 20 overs. In reply, Hyderabad were restricted on 172 for 8. With this win, Delhi will now face Mumbai Indians in the Summit Clash tomorrow. In Women's T20 Challenge Cricket Tournament, Supernovas defeated Trailblazers by 2 runs at Sharjah. Supernovas will take on Trailblazers again in the final, which will be played today. Supernovas have won both the early editions of the Women's T20 Challenge. The air quality in Delhi continued to remain in severe category this morning. According to the Central Pollution Control Board, the city's air quality index was recorded 461 at 7 a.m. An air quality index between 201 and 300 is considered poor, 301 to 400 very poor, and 401 to 500 severe. The System of Air Quality and Weather Forecasting and Research SAFAR has forecast that the air quality will stay in the severe to the higher end of very poor category today. SAFAR has advised people to avoid all physical activity outdoors. It has asked people to stop any activity level if they experience any unusual coughing, chest discomfort, wheezing, breathing difficulty or fatigue.
Now let us take a look at the weather update for the day. The national capital will have shallow fog. The minimum temperature was recorded at 10 degrees Celsius. Maximum will be around 29. In Mumbai, sky will be mainly clear. Minimum temperature in the metropolis was 23 degrees. Maximum will be around 35 degrees. Chennai will have a partly cloudy sky. Temperature will hover between 23 and 31 degrees. Kolkata is expected to have a mainly clear sky with temperature varying between 19 and 31 degrees Celsius. On to the north, in Jammu and Kashmir, Jammu and Srinagar cities will have a mainly clear sky, but there will be much variance in temperature in Srinagar as the minimum temperature was -1 degree Celsius, while maximum will be around 20 degrees. In Jammu, there will be mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature was 12 degrees, while maximum will be around 28 degrees. In Leh, sky will be mainly clear, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Minimum temperature was recorded at -10 degrees, while maximum will be around 10 degrees. Gilgit will see mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening, with temperature hovering between -1 and 23 degrees Celsius. In Muzaffarabad also, sky will be mainly clear, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Temperature will move from 10 to 30 degrees Celsius. In Dehradun, sky will be mainly clear. Temperature will hover between 11 and 29 degrees Celsius. Chandigarh will have a mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards evening or night, with temperature oscillating between 11 and 28 degrees Celsius. In Hyderabad, minimum temperature was 14 degrees Celsius, while maximum will be around 31 degrees. The city will have a partly cloudy sky with haze. Ahmedabad will see a clear sky. Minimum temperature was 18 degrees Celsius, while maximum will be around 32 degrees. Patna will have a mainly clear sky with temperature hovering between 15 and 31 degrees Celsius, and Guwahati witnessed fog or mist in early morning. The minimum temperature in the city was 17 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 32 degrees Celsius. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls upon citizens of the country to celebrate Diwali with local products. Prime Minister inaugurates and lays foundation for various development projects in Varanasi. National COVID recovery rate improves to 92.56%. In Bihar, elaborate arrangements put in place for tomorrow's counting of votes for assembly elections. And 15th Finance Commission submits report of 2021-26 to President Ramnath Kovind. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the Midday News.